on to Euroleague basketball on ESPN. I'm Mark Brown along with Hall of Famer Gail Goodrich as we get ready for the definitive Game 3 of this quarterfinal playoff series. CSKA Moscow hosting Maccabi Elite. And the first two games of this series went in completely opposite directions. And we're going to take a look back to show you exactly how we got to where we are tied at 1 game apiece. Game 1 in Moscow was all CSKA. Savrasenko scoring inside, and Papaloukas playing his role as playmaker to a T.
Yeah, he really does. He comes off the bench. He gives CSKA a great lift, and here we see him hitting Langdon for the jump shot. Now again, the distributor driving to the middle and kicking out. Ended up with 8 assists in this ball game and was really a factor coming off the bench.
Gave a great easy 3 for J.R. Holden. There was a 16-point lead. Not much going right in the game, but Noel Felix getting the hoop for Maccabi, but it was still a 20-point game. In the third quarter, CSKA goes down low for Matas Schmodis. And, of course, Trajan Langdon, one of the other big weapons, and this time not from a 3.
No, this time he drives the hoop, but of course he was very big outside in this ball game very early on.
Now Thomas Vandenspiegel, a rare double-digit game for him. You saw that one there, and then also on the other end here.
He ended up with 11.
In the end, an 80-58 blowout victory. David Anderson had 14 points to help CSKA Moscow to the easy victory. Vucic a near double-double in that one for Maccabi. But that game certainly set the stage for what we all thought would probably be a sweep. But, Gail, when you switch venues, you go to Tel Aviv, things can change.
Yeah, they really can. And Vucic purely came alive, or continued to came alive, and was a major factor in this victory.
And Jamie Arnold with a great defensive effort there. We'll have some more on that. The numbers were very strong for Maccabi defensively. And Lior Eliyahu just did a little bit of everything in this game.
Yes, he did. He really stepped up. There was a time in the game when he really dominated the game. Here we see him, of course, driving to the basket for the dunk. But he did a great job defensively, too, on Schmodis.
Here, beautiful baseline drive. He had a double-double, 13 points and 10 rebounds in the game. And it was a 19-point advantage at one point. CSKA Moscow trying to keep it close. Pankrashov scoring there. Vucic making the move in the lane here. He had 15 points. And in the end, an outstanding effort by Maccabi in a game they had to win.
Yes, it was. And we see Usaitis there hitting in the corner. And, of course, came off the bench with 8 points in reserve role.
So 68-56 the final. They win it by a dozen. A good game for Oscar Torres for CSKA. But the big story was Eliyahu and the great job he did defensively. He held Matas Schmodis without a field goal for the first time for Schmodis this season as well. And CSKA held to just 38% from the field, including 4 of 24 from three-point range. That is just the type of defensive effort that Maccabi will need tonight if they want to win a spot in the Final Four and do it in Moscow. This is Euroleague basketball on ESPN, coming you today from Universal Sports Hall, CSKA in Moscow, Russia, the home of defending Euroleague champion CSKA Moscow. They're looking to book another spot in the Final Four. These two teams, in fact, met in last year's championship game. It was a thriller, with CSKA pulling it out 73-69 to stop the back-to-back runs of Maccabi Elite. Big game for Papaloukas, scoring as well as assists in that one as well. Will Solomon, no longer with Maccabi, led them in scoring as they dropped a 4-point affair. Well, let's focus in on Trajan Langdon, the long-distance gunner for CSKA.
Yeah, he really has to score from the outside. He had a big ball game in game 1, and here we see him driving to the hoop. But in game 1, he had 16, and in game 2, he really had some problems. Only 1 for 7 from three-point range. And if they're going to have a victory here in Moscow today, he has got to step up big, because as he goes scoring, basically that's how CSKA goes.
13 points per game during this season, and a very strong 41% from three-point range. He's hit 53s on this season, and we'd expect him to be launching again. But they've got an inside threat as well, Matas Schmodis.
Yes, he really does give CSKA the inside game, inside scoring to go with Langdon from the outside. Now, he has had a little difficulty here in the last game, in game 2. He only got 2 points and no baskets after getting 9 in the first game. But he's got a lot of skills. He's a big-time scorer, and he was a Euro MVP for the month of February.
Matash Smotis with a great inside game, also shoots it well when he steps it out. 42%, hit 29 of them on the season, so you got to guard him in both places. He averages just under 13 points per game, and coming off, as Gail said, a very much under par game in game 2. He'll be looking to come out strong. Now, he'll probably be matched up with Nikola Vucic for a lot of this game.
Yeah, and Vucic is a real tough guy to contain, and we see here going from the weak side and catch the ball for the dunk. But he leads the Euroleague in rebounding and has been very, very strong as he had 15 and 9 in the last ball game, which Maccabi was able to win.
Look at his numbers on the season. A great balance of numbers. In fact, in the regular season, Nikola Vucic ranked in the top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He's just a tremendous all-around player. They'll need a huge effort out of him. They did get that huge effort out of Lior Eliyahu, a youngster with great potential.
Yeah, he really is. Only 21 years old, and he really is a guy that can go to the basket. He's a slasher, does not shoot threes, but he came up very, very big. And he, of course, is the X factor for Maccabi in this ball game, but he really did a great job offensively and, of course, defensively against Smotis.
Good solid numbers for him on the season. 11 points, 5.5 rebounds per game. Gail mentioned that he doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but shoots very well from inside the arc, as those numbers will attest. 57% for Lior Eliyahu, one of the bright rising stars in Israeli basketball. Well, there is one game to decide who will go to the EuroLeague Final Four. CSKA versus Maccabi. Game 3 is coming up. We're ready for the opening tip-off. CSKA Moscow hosting Maccabi Elite. Game 3 of this best-of-3 quarterfinal series. EuroLeague playoffs on ESPN. Mark Brown along with Hall of Famer Gail Goodrich. CSKA Moscow blowout victors in Game 1. Maccabi went home and got the victory they needed to extend this series. Now one game to settle up who is going to the Final Four. Maccabi Elite starts Bynum and Sharp in the backcourt. Vucic, Jamie Arnold getting the start up front, along with Captain Tal Burstein. Of course, this is a rematch of last year's championship game won by CSKA. Nevin Spahija, of course, was not the head coach of Maccabi in that game. It was the now departed Pini Gershon. CSKA Moscow starts Smotis, Savrasenko, and Torres up front. Holden and Langdon are the guards. And Gail, this CSKA team, deep, talented, and loaded.
Well, they are, Mark. They've got a great bench. They've got 6 players that average 9 points or better, and they just have a lot of depth. They play great defense. They share the basketball. I mean, this is a team that is made for the Final Four. Anything less would be a disappointment. But you got to give Maccabi a lot of credit. They went home and won Game 2 after being blown out in Game 1. They come in here, a tough task, obviously, but they've earned the right to be on the road. They've only got 3 road games this year where they're victors. CSKA is a team that has won all of their games here at home. So this should be an exciting game, something that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, CSKA obviously wants to turn a couple of things around. I guess knowing that they had a potential Game 3 back home in Moscow might have led to maybe not their greatest performance in Game 2. Definitely have to hand it to Maccabi coming up with that tough victory, because you would think that Maccabi is just a little bit outmanned when it comes to CSKA. CSKA returns basically their entire team from last year's championship team, and Maccabi, of course, has made a number of changes. Maccabi in gold, and the red-clad CSKA team controls the opening tip. Matash Smotis, who went without a field goal in the entirety of Game 2. First time this season that's happened. They go right inside to Smotis for the first touch, and he's got the jump hook. Already a better start than in Game 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. Smotis went without a basket on the great defensive job by Eliyahu. But they look like they're going into him right away to get a good start, get him off.
Burstein goes to the corner. Quick release from Derek Sharp and hits nothing. The 2-0 CSKA lead off of 1 trip each. Again, Smotis gets a touch to start things. Now out beyond the screen and beyond the arc. Three ball won't go down. Jamie Arnold pulls the rebound.
Yeah, and there's no question about it that CSKA is going right to Smotis early. See if they can get him off offensively and really put some pressure on Maccabi.
Will Bynum left alone just inside the arc. Strokes the long one to tie the game at 2.
Bynum taking advantage of the lack or the sagging defense that time by CSKA to knock it down.
Here's Holden into the lane, out for Trajan Langdon, guarded tightly by Sharp. They swing it to the far side. Holden with Bynum on him. Screen from Savrasenko. Smotis on top, same spot, different result. Buries a 3, a 5-2 lead.
And Smotis has all 5 at this point in the ball game. Shooting the ball, CSKA looks very, very sharp today.
Ettore Messina clearly has his team focused. The crowd has come ready. Festive atmosphere in Moscow. Rebound by the 7-footer Savrasenko.
Yeah, not a good shot by Maccabi. Really settling for the 3 instead of working the ball around.
Trajan Langdon off the screen. Pull-up jumper. Short. Oscar Torres the rebound. Putback won't go, but a foul on Tal Burstein.
Torres with a good offensive rebound that time, putting the ball back up, drawing the foul. And CSKA looks like they're coming out with a lot of energy. They're aggressive. It was Maccabi who had all the energy and the quickness to the ball in game 2. But tonight, it looks like it's CSKA with all that quickness, taking advantage of this home court crowd.
Oscar Torres at the free throw line. Signed several weeks ago during the mid-season. David Vanterpool out for all the top 16 and now all the quarterfinals with a back injury. Not sure when he's coming back. Oscar Torres, a reinforcement and a very talented scoring reinforcement. He's got a couple at the line there.
Well, he's been a great addition, Mark. He now leads, since he's come over, he's led the team in rebounding. And he had a very good ball game. 12 points and 7 rebounds in game 2.
A 7-2 lead for CSKA. Vucic fouled out front by Matash Smotis. That is his first.
Maccabi will look to go to Vucic, who has not done a whole lot here in this series, but right now he there draws a foul. Good call by the official.
Nice pass down low for Arnold, who missed the tip as well.
A missed opportunity that time by Maccabi, getting a nice, good, solid shot at the basket.
J.R. Holden out to reset things for CSKA, off to that 7-2 lead. 10 on the shot clock. Oscar Torres nails a 3. What a start for CSKA. They're up 10-2.
And Torres has 5. And Smotis has 5. All of the points for CSKA. CSKA playing great defense, team defense. They switch out, they cover, helping one another.
And an offensive foul. Burstein, the baseline drive. Smotis stepped in to draw it.
Good team defense. Good help that time by Smotis. We're going to take another look. Steps right in there, the path. Good call by the official. And CSKA is really making things difficult for Maccabi early on here with a good, tough man-to-man defense.
J.R. Holden to the top, all the way to the corner. Smotis missing on the 3. Savrasenko keeps it alive. No-look feed. Langdon finds Smotis for the jam.
Great offensive tip that time, keeping the ball alive. And Smotis is off to just a horrific start for a player that did not score a basket in game 2. CSKA out to a 12-2 lead.
Right now on a 10-0 run. CSKA jumping Maccabi from the get-go. The 7 points for Matash Smotis along with 5 for Oscar Torres. 2 men have accounted for all 12 of those points. A must timeout for Nevin Spahija. He's got A whole lot to worry about here. His team looks a tad bit flat, and CSKA couldn't be more focused.
Well, you're absolutely right, Mark. In game 2, they shot 50%. Right now, they are struggling offensively, not getting a lot of good high percentage shots, but they right now have got to pick up their defense. Smotis there with a little hook, and it's just been all CSKA at this point. There's the one basket by Bynum. Good take here. Look at this pass by Langdon underneath, set up by the offensive tip, and the control by CSKA of the offensive boards.
Well, we'll see what Maccabi can do coming out of that timeout. They weren't able to do anything against CSKA, who's just a well-oiled machine right now. This Moscow crowd is used to seeing victories. The CSKA team undefeated this season at home, and of course they are the defending Euroleague champion and looking for their 5th consecutive trip to the Final Four.
Well, CSKA has just had a terrific year. They're 20-2 in Euro play this year. And like you said, they have not lost at home.
Yeah, the only 2 losses, once in the regular season way back in week 3 at Pau Orthez, and the other loss coming last week in game 2 of this quarterfinal to Maccabi. Right now, Maccabi looking overmatched. Lior Eliyahu just in the game. Shot blocked by Safrasenko. This is Holden. Down on the block for Smotis. Backing his way in. Scores again. He's got 9.
Smotis really taking advantage that time of Eliyahu. Backing him in. A stronger than Eliyahu.
Derek Sharp, the baseline drive, scoring to stop what was a 12-0 CSKA run. As we approach the midway point of the first quarter.
Here we see Sharp going along the baseline. The good shot off the glass and over the stretched arms of Safrasenko.
So turnover forced off the inbound, and Bynum found Vucic, who missed from point-blank range.
And a great rebound by Torres. CSKA running their set offense.
Torres behind the screen, hits another 3.
And CSKA has really come out on fire, shooting the ball exceptionally well, particularly from the 3-point arc range.
8 points for Torres, 9 for Smotis. It all adds up to a 17-4 lead. Eliyahu had such a brilliant game in game 2. Just checked in moments ago, is yet to get up a shot. Goes back door, but this time they go inside for Burstein with a nice turnaround.
Yeah, Burstein flashing into the post there position at 6'6", taking advantage of his size at over the opponent guard.
And at the scorer's table, Theo Papaloukas, the great point guard who always comes off the bench for CSKA. We've got an offensive foul, Alexei Safrasenko, the moving screen.
Yeah, Alexei just moving there. Good call by the official. He's got to stay set on that screen. Coming in late. The crowd is really into it here. The CSKA is off to such a great start.
So Langdon gets the break. Papaloukas replaces him. Papaloukas wearing the number 4 jersey in red. Keep an eye on him. He's spectacular. Bynum missed the easy layup. Now CSKA in transition. 4 on 3. Oh, Papaloukas just walks in with a left.
Well, Papaloukas and CSKA now, with Papaloukas in there, will look to push the ball. Papaloukas is really effective in the open floor, in the transition. Such a smart player.
Eliyahu trapped on the baseline, nowhere to go, throws it away. It's Holden busting through off the steal and lays it in ahead of Bynum.
Can credit the defense, just a swarming defense on Eliyahu, and absolutely just great defense that led to that coast-to-coast play.
15 is now the lead for CSKA. Vucic on the baseline finds Eliyahu, knocked away, stolen again. Papaloukas leads the break, and he is fouled on the way in. Prior to the shot, The personal will be called on Derek Sharp.
And Papaloukas again in the transition, open court, so smart and clever. There we see the foul, throws it up, continuing to the basket, off the glass, and gets to go to the line.
Theo Papaloukas, just 3 starts now in 23 appearances, but he plays major minutes, prefers to come off the bench, and what a lift he gives them. It seems every big game he comes up even bigger.
You're absolutely right, Mark. Was not a factor or an impact. It was not the impact player we see in game 2, but he had 8 assists in game 1, and he became the first player last week to go over 500 assists in EuroLeague play. Just a great, great player, great distributor, and really the key for CSKA's offense.
And Schmotis will go to the CSKA bench for a break with 9 points in the first quarter. They established him early. He stepped up. A 16-point advantage for CSKA. Now coming up on 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. Vucic still looking for his first points. Kicks it out for Burstein. Rebound Safrasenko.
And well, once again, we see Maccabi settling for the three-pointer.
J.R. Holden has to kick it out. Oscar Torres into a seam. Out for Papaloukas. Hits a 3. It's not what he does best, but if you leave him open, he'll burn you.
Yeah, he really will. He hits the 3. Again, the play set up by the drive into the lane and then the kick out.
The lead is now busted out to 19 with under 2.5 to play in the first quarter. Eliyahu. Now Burstein. Yasitis just in off the bench. Comes in firing and beats the shot clock with a 3.
Yasitis at 6'9", coming off the bench, averages 9.5, shoots very well from 3. Just an outstanding shooter. Had 8 points in game 2.
CSKA coming out red hot from both inside and beyond the arc. David Anderson just checks in, gets backdoor, and takes the feed from Papaloukas.
Yeah, Anderson, a real key. Again, another player showing the depth of CSKA coming off the bench. Had 14 points in their big win in game 1 of this series. But credit Papaloukas again for the look.
Eliyahu there with the offensive rebound, fouled as he brought it back up.
Eliyahu doing a nice job on the offensive boards. Really a key in Maccabi's win in the second ball game. He had a great job on Schmotis and had 15 points in addition with, I think, 10 rebounds. Excuse me, 13 points and 10 rebounds in that second game. And really has got to produce if Maccabi is going to be the victor today. It's been quiet thus far.
First free throw is good for Eliyahu. Not yet 22 years of age, with great potential on that 6'9" frame. This is Thomas Vandenspiegel just into the game. Big man up front for CSKA. A 16-point lead under 1.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Here's Papaloukas.
Running the point.
Never any question who's in charge when he's on the floor. Langdon is back in. Playing in the backcourt with Holden and Papaloukas. Holden, the pull-up jumper.
CSKA running their offensive set to perfection there.
Under 1 minute to go in the first. And a foul out front on David Anderson. Anderson is just checked in a minute or 2 ago, and now he's picked up 2 personals.
And we see Vucic there going around Anderson. Vucic, really a tough player. Leads the EuroLeague in rebounding, but he does everything. He's a very mobile player, and he's a passer, averages 4 assists a game, 15 points, and 8 rebounds.
Non-shooting foul, so Maccabi ball. Triggering it in from the side. Will Bynum. Into the lane, loses the dribble, needs some help, and throws it away.
And Maccabi is really having trouble on the offensive end. CSKA's defense is excellent. Maccabi turning the ball over early here.
Another chance for CSKA to add to the lead. What a great start at home for the team from Moscow. And a collision on the far side away from the ball. Will Bynum just sent Matash Shmotis sprawling to the floor.
Well, Shmotis set the pick down low. And Bynum, just a little frustration, just decided to run through it instead of going around it.
Papaloukas will inbound. Underneath, straight out to Shmotis. Hits another three.
And Shmotis is on fire as CSKA is building a commanding lead here early in this ball game.
21, as big as it's been. Final 20 seconds. Bank shot won't go for Sharp. And a foul inside as Yaniv Green pulled down the offensive rebound.
Green, who did not or saw very limited minutes in game 2, has come in early in the ball game in this first quarter. And coach.
And first free throw is good for Green. 9-year pro, 3rd year with Maccabi. He's played his entire career in Israel. Final seconds of the first quarter. Papaloukas leaves his feet, throws it back out. Still 8 seconds to go. Holden's got it. And Tormasina called out the set. Holden will fire from 3. Won't go. Bynum's got the rebound, but no time for a shot. We've come to the end of the first quarter. It has been dominated by the defending champs. CSKA with a 32-13 lead heading for the second. Welcome back to this EuroLeague quarterfinal decisive game 3. CSKA jumping out quickly with a commanding lead over Maccabi. The winner gets to go to the Final Four in Athens a few weeks hence. We already know that Panathinaikos and Tau have qualified. They will play each other in one semifinal. Winner of this game will play the winner of Unicaja and Werder Barcelona in the other semifinal matchup. But CSKA just jumping out to an incredible start. They actually led up by 21 for a moment late in the first quarter, and now have a 19-point lead to start the second. And troubles continue for Maccabi. Lior Eliyahu traveled.
Another turnover for Maccabi. Here we see him just losing his composure a little bit. Traveling with the ball, and as good as Eliyahu played in game 2, he has having just as much difficulty here in this third ball game. But credits CSKA's defense because they are just swarming the ball and making everything difficult for Maccabi on the offensive end.
Yaniv Green picks up the foul from Maccabi. Away from the ball, it will be CSKA ball underneath. Trajan Langdon did not score in the first quarter, but Torres had 8, and of course 12 for Shmotis to lead all scorers. Curling off the screen is Langdon, and another foul away from the ball. Could be on Arnold or Green. A couple quick fouls on Maccabi in the opening 30 seconds of the second quarter. Torres inside, stripped away by Burstein, but he couldn't quite control it and put it on the end line. So after the nice play, Maccabi's not going to get the ball. Shmotis gives on top to Torres. Trajan Langdon behind the screen. Papaloukas always looking for the great pass. Takes it into the lane. Throws it behind his man Vandenspiegel, and then ends up with a wide open look. It's the 3.
The quickness to the ball by CSKA, and Papaloukas wide open. Knocks down the 3. He's off to a great start.
Langdon the steal. Papaloukas drive and the dish. Torres finishes
Once again, we see the great Papaloukas on the break in transition. That great pass there to Torres for the 2. And CSKA just continues to dominate this game early here in the second period. We see the good defense there, really generated. Bynum thinks he got hit in the head a little bit there, but CSKA was off and running at the other end. No call on the foul.
A 24-point deficit for Maccabi. And then sloppy ball handling by Burstein. Found Green. And now Eusebius will try the 3, and he hits his 2nd of the game.
Yeah, Eusebius has come in and have given Maccabi a little bit of a lift. His 2nd 3-pointer, one from the right side, now one from the left side.
Papaloukas screen. Gives to Langdon, who fires. First hoop of the game, and why not? It's a 3.
Yeah, Langdon, just a great 3-point shooter. You cannot leave him alone. You've got to close out on him. Otherwise, he's just going to knock those 3s down. He's a very sound shooter. Just really a solid basketball player.
CSKA is 7 of 10 from 3-point range. And they give up the foul. Papaloukas, the guilty party.
Yeah, CSKA, who really had a lot of trouble in game 2 shooting the 3-point play. Shot only 4 for 24, but it's a different story here tonight.
24-point deficit now inside 8 minutes to play in the first half. Green trying to make something happen. Runs into 2. Vandenspiegel blocks it. And Green commits the foul.
CSKA really closing the middle, and Vandenspiegel just with the block, helping out defensively. But you can just see that CSKA has really come to play tonight. They are much more aggressive than they have been in the past, and just doing an outstanding job at the defensive end. And of course, they're shooting the ball exceptionally well.
See if they can add to this 24-point advantage. Smotis, who had 12 in the first quarter, gives it up to Langdon. J.R. Holden looking for Smotis down low. Gets it to him. Straight back out for Langdon from deep. Hits another 3. Quiet in the first quarter. He's got 2 threes here in the second.
CSKA going inside to Smotis, and then the kick out. Inside-out game working very, very effectively here for CSKA.
Eusebius will fire again from the wing. 3 3-pointers for Seamus Eusebius. Where would they be without him?
Eusebius is coming in and just giving great offensive production here on the offensive, and it's sorely needed because Maccabi is really struggling to find points tonight.
They needed 3 quick 3s from Eusebius just to stay within 24. That is how dominant CSKA has been.
CSKA is just really a well-oiled machine here. We see the step out, the foul. Nice call by the official. Vucek a little late in stepping out.
David Anderson back on the floor with the 2 fouls. Sets a screen for Langdon. Arnold's on him. We got a mismatch there. Langdon gets to the free throw line. Hits the pull-up. Hitting everything in the second quarter. He's got 8.
And Langdon really just too quick for Vucek, who had switched off on Langdon.
Burstein the pull-up. Can't hit. Holden down for the rebound. A 26-point lead and counting for CSKA as we approach the 6-minute mark to play in the first half. Another quick release. Won't go for Langdon. A rare miss for him. Arnold lost it in transition.
Maccabi just really having some difficulty tonight, turning the ball over, and with the turnovers and CSKA shooting so well, it's just not a good combination for Maccabi.
Langdon, baseline to Anderson. A rebound, Jeritan. What a push off against Maccabi. Gonna stay right there.
Not a good foul by Maccabi. They had the ball on the rebound and were looking to go the other way. Instead, CSKA has the ball. And in fact will go to the foul line.
Bonus situation as Van der Spiel going to the free throw line. Only averages 4.5 points per game, but in 14 minutes a game he blocks 1.2 shots per game, which is a pretty good number for a guy who's not on the floor that many minutes.
Well, again, he comes in and he gets a compliment to this team. Had 11 points though in game 1 in that decisive win that CSKA had.
And the 50% free throw shooter hits 1 of 2. CSKA pushing the lead to now 27 points. It is growing nearly every trip down. Jerriton the drive, stripped away and stolen. J.R. Holden pushing the pace the other way. And now we'll back it out. 9 Maccabi turnovers.
Holden, just an outstanding defensive player. Great hands, great anticipation. And they wisely set up the offense. They'll look to run their passing game along with the pick and roll.
Here's Langdon trying to create. Step back jumper. Oh, he hits the fadeaway just inside the arc.
There we're going to see the reach in and then deflection that time by Holden. And then the follow-up with the three-pointer by Langdon. And Langdon is just given a clinic on how to shoot threes.
He's got 10. All of them coming in the second quarter. And another timeout for Maccabi Elite. They are powerless to stop what CSKA is doing right now. 32-13 was the lead after 1. And they have added 10 more to that number, if you can believe it. And a very satisfied crowd right now in Moscow checking this one out. And what, if anything, can be done here by Maccabi? Nevin Spahija, they have just been hit with a speeding train here.
Well, obviously, CSKA is shooting the ball exceptionally well, but Maccabi has got to get out on defense and try to get CSKA to take some lower percentage shots. They're getting good high percentage shots. They're shooting well. Maccabi also has 10 turnovers to 2. Not helpful there.
CSKA seeming to get every shot that they want and hitting them all, and Maccabi cannot buy a basket.
Well, you got to give credit to CSKA's defense. They're making things very, very difficult for Maccabi. Maccabi, in game 2, they were so aggressive and had so much intensity, and that really helped carry them along with their defense. But Maccabi has come out here tonight again and just shot the ball exceptionally well. They're moving the ball offensively. They're sharing the ball. This is a well-oiled machine that is really executing at the highest level tonight.
Oscar Torres coming back in for CSKA. What a great first quarter he had with 10 points. Didn't miss a shot. Under 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Vucic going against Anderson. Finally gets a hoop.
Vucic, who really has to step up his production and get a little bit more aggressive, has not had a lot of shots here in the first half. And if Maccabi's going to get back into this game, they're going to have to go to Vucic and depend on Vucic to get the ball and to score some points.
J.R. Holden gave up the dribble. Down low. And Savrasenko nearly had his arm taken off. Derek Sharp just wouldn't let go.
Really a nice look inside as Savrasenko had the big mismatch, the good recognition that time by Anderson, and dumped the ball down low. And Savrasenko at the 7-1 center for CSKA now goes to the line.
Savrasenko played much of his now 12-year professional career in Greece. He's now in his 5th season back in Russia with Moscow.
He is known as a shot blocker, runs the floor very well, and as you said, has a lot of experience. So whatever points that Savrasenko gets is really like icing on the cake for CSKA. And Maccabi turns the ball over once again.
It is an epidemic, the 11th turnover of the first half, and we've still got quite a bit of time to play in the second quarter, more than 4 minutes.
Papaloukas wisely setting up the offense now.
Trajan Langdon gives it up.
Very patient.
Papaloukas high posted Anderson. Anderson, big man to big man, finds Savrasenko, who kept it high and dropped it in.
Again, the two 7-footers working together, taking advantage of the height, as Maccabi now has gone to a rather small lineup, only with Vucek being the one player, and he at 6'11". The other four are relatively small, trying to find something here to get Maccabi to get something going.
The lead had busted the 30-point mark before that tough drive by Geratin. Now it's a 29-point game. Just over 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. And an offensive foul. They're going to get Savrasenko for clearing out.
We're going to take another look. There's Savrasenko moving on the pick. That's the second one he's received for movement of the pick.
Mateusz Szmotas had such an outstanding first quarter with 12 points, getting CSKA off to that hot start. He's had a nice little break here in the second quarter. And meanwhile, CSKA continues to just pile on to that lead. Now Szmotas back on the floor. Jamie Arnold traveled.
Nothing is going right for Maccabi right now. Another turnover.
Hard to imagine that CSKA could have played any better in this first half. They've missed only 2 shots from inside the arc and 3 from beyond it. Speaking of beyond it, Trajan Langdon buries another. 13 points, all coming in the second quarter.
And Langdon continues the hot hand. Papaloukas looking to Langdon because he can shoot the basketball. He's got the hot hand. It was a nice screen there to set him up. One of the easy baskets for Maccabi that time. Eusitis going back door.
The lead is still 30. Holden. Vucek the rebound.
Holden shooting a little quick on that three-pointer. One of the few quick shots that CSKA has taken here in that first half.
Geratin hits the fadeaway jumper.
Geratin going to his left, creating some space. Nice little shot.
Here's Langdon again. A hot hand, swings it across to Holden. Post up for Anderson. Going to the lefty hook and hits.
Anderson has really come off the bench in a reserve role. Can score the basketball, turning over his right shoulder with a little left-handed hook. Has been very, very effective in this ball game.
Eusitis still with the hot hand, buries another 3, but his team still down 27 points. Langdon lost the handle, couldn't save it into a teammate, so Maccabi coming the other way. Sharp on the drive and fouled on the pass off.
Good foul that time by Holden. Fouling Sharp in the transition, forcing Maccabi now to take the ball out of bounds. And CSKA will get to set up their defense.
And what a defense it's been. It has not yielded very much to Maccabi. Sharp left alone for 3. First 3 of the game. He's got 5 first half points now inside 50 seconds to play in the quarter. Papaloukas gets into the lane, right back out. Drive is knocked away from Holden. 3-on-2 the other way, won't go. Tip goes for Eusitis, who now has 16 first half points.
Eusitis has been everywhere for Maccabi. Good anticipation that the ball might be missed. He's right there for the tip-in.
20 seconds to play in the half. Papaloukas in. Misfires on the way for Anderson, but last touched by Maccabi. 15.5 seconds on the game clock, 12 on the shot clock.
And we see Papaloukas throws the ball a little bit low, needs to throw that ball up around the letters for those big 7-footers, but a good idea.
Well, this time he gets it right to the 7-foot Anderson, who hits the foul line jumper for a 24-point lead.
Yeah, Anderson, really an outstanding shooter. Shoots 48% from threes and 44 for twos.
Vucic the drive to beat the buzzer at the end of the first half, but much too little and much too late. Vucic with only 4 points. His team, Maccabi, trailing CSKA 59-37 at the Euroleague basketball halftime report. This is game 3, the decisive game of this quarterfinal matchup. CSKA Moscow dominating Maccabi Elite at the end of 2 quarters of play. Mark Brown along with Hall of Famer Gail Goodrich. Let's take a look back to the top 10 plays of the playoffs. Number 10, CSKA and Maccabi. Lior Eliyahu looks like he's got nowhere to go, but that is not the case as he spins and goes baseline.
Well, Eliyahu has a great first step, and we see here the explosiveness along the baseline, and he can finish with the dunk.
Number 9 from Dynamo versus Panathinaikos. Robertas Havtokas with the defense on Taekwon Dean.
See here the nice block. The timing is Dean a little out of control. Goes in among the bigs, but it is Jeff Sotas with the block.
Number 8, Barcelona, Unicaja. Look at a beautiful delivery from Navarro to Trias.
Nice delivery, Mark, as you said, inside for the easy two.
Number 7, Dynamo versus Panathinaikos again. On the break, Sergei Bykov takes it right at the defender.
Well, he really does. Goes right to the hoop. Tough play. Strong. Gets the contact. And, of course, the finish.
Back to Maccabi and CSKA for number 6, Trajan Langdon. Nice look for a Holden, who hits the hoop plus the foul.
We see in transition that time. CSKA Holden with a nice pass and going strong. Finishing, absorbing the contact. This is J.R. Holden.
Number 5, Olympiacos versus Tau. Final seconds of the first half. Scooney Penn from deep with the 3.
Scooney, not known as a three-point shooter, but hits this one just prior to the buzzer.
Actually, Henry Dolmerkamp making that hoop. Scooney setting him up. Number 4. Dynamo versus Panathinaikos. The alley-oop for Yevtokas slamming it down.
Nice look, good lob pass coming off the screen, wide open for the easy 2.
Number 3, Olympiacos versus Tau. On the fast break, Scooney Penn takes the bump and hits the hoop anyway.
Yeah, he really is a very strong upper body, goes hard, absorbs the contact, throws it up, gets the call, and the ball comes in off the glass.
Number 2, Maccabi and CSKA, Lior Eliyahu coming down the lane.
Down the middle for the finish. Good pass there in transition. Eliyahu had a big ball game in game 2 and a big contributor to the victory over CSKA.
Number 1, Barcelona, Unicaja. How many times has Pepe Sanchez made our list? Takes the rebound, going coast to coast. No, we'll go around the back to Yuri Welsh.
Yeah, how pretty is this? Pepe, the ability to run the break and run the point in transition, really fooled the defense for 2 points.
So that's the top 10 plays of the playoffs. We could add a few from today's game, mostly from the Moscow side, as CSKA leads Maccabi by 22, heading for the start of the 3rd quarter. Welcome back to Euroleague basketball on ESPN. Maccabi Elite trailing by 22 at the hands of CSKA Moscow in what is a rematch of the championship game from last spring. And let's take a look back to the first quarter action, and CSKA just got going early. They established Smotis down low.
Yeah, they really did, and we're going to take a look here. Smotis hitting the ball outside on the jump shot and a pass from Holden, but it was Smotis early on doing just about everything.
Getting the no-look feed there off the offensive rebound, slamming it home. He had 12 first quarter points. Of course, then you come in with Theo Papaloukas off the bench.
Yeah, Papaloukas, as usual, comes in with giving a big lift. And really an impact player. Had 9 points. We saw 3 here on the three-pointer.
They were up 19 with CSKA starting the second quarter. Papaloukas said, hey, Trajan Langdon's not involved. Let's get him involved.
Yeah, they really, and he comes in, and of course, he's a great shooter, wide open, uncontested 3. You got to get up on him if you're going to force him to miss. We see him come back, the same thing. Papaloukas to Langdon. Papaloukas gets six assists in the first half.
Off the bench, big man David Anderson with a lefty hook in the lane. Made it a 30-point game at that point. At one point, the lead was as high as 32. Right now, it sits at 22 after a mini run. But the shooting numbers for CSKA are just off the charts.
Yeah, they really are, Mark. 13 for 15 on 2-point range, 9 for 14. And no, that's the reason for this big lead. But also look at the turnovers. The swarming defense by CSKA is really having an effect on Maccabi. They have 12 turnovers here in the first half. That's not going to get it done.
20 minutes of basketball stands between CSKA and another berth in the Final Four with a 22-point advantage. The third quarter is coming up. Well, Trajan Langdon, one of the many bright spots for CSKA in the first half of their decisive Game 3 of this quarterfinal. They take a 22-point lead over Maccabi into the second half. The winner of this game moving on to the Euroleague Final Four in Athens a few weeks hence. We already know that Panathinaikos and Tau will battle it out in one Final Four matchup. And Winter Barcelona taking on Unicaja later on today for the right to play the winner of this game. And right now, Gail Goodrich, it looks like CSKA can do almost no wrong.
Well, they really can't do any wrong. They're shooting the ball exceptionally well. They're sharing the basketball. They have 13 assists already at halftime versus only 9 in Game 2. And they are, like I said, sharing the basketball. They got good balance. Papaloukas 9, Smotis 12, Langdon 13. It's just basically giving a clinic of how the basketball game should be played.
We'll see if they can keep it up. They have the huge advantage to start the third quarter with the basketball. Quick ball movement. Nice little fake for Trajan Langdon. He couldn't hit. Oh, Savrasenko had a point-blank shot. He can't believe he missed it.
Well, good look that time by Langdon. Of course, Savrasenko, nice rebound. And one of the really few errors that CSKA has made in this ball game by not getting 2 points on that offensive set.
Gail, on that one possession, CSKA missed more 2-point shots than in the entire first half.
Yeah,
they were 13 of 15.
They have been on fire in this ball game. They are doing pretty much offensively anything they want. They're getting good shots, and of course, a lot of it is being created on the defensive end, where they forced these 12 turnovers by Maccabi.
Langdon going inside and scoring over the big man.
Well, right there, I mean, Langdon really getting good penetration, a good hesitation on the shot. And Langdon, who, of course, is about 6'4", over the Vucek at 6'11". It just, again, they seem to be doing everything right tonight. There's the look at the pass inside, the foul, but good pressure by Savrasenko.
Quick hook as Vandenspiegel now into the game, replacing Savrasenko, who picks up the foul for Moscow.
And you know, we see Savrasenko, the ability to come in now with a Vandenspiegel to play defense, continue to bring in players to guard and to contest Vucek. And Vucek, who really only had 4 points on 3 shots here in the first half. If Maccabi's going to do anything here in the second half and make a run, he has really got to get offensive-minded down in that post position, and that's what it looks like they're trying to do.
2 quick fouls on Vandenspiegel, and prior to that, there was one on Savrasenko.
So Maccabi are looking to establish the post play, go inside with Vucek, and we'll hope to get CSKA into team foul trouble here early on in the third quarter.
Bursting out beyond the arc, gets a screen from Vucek. Crossing over into the lane, out for Sharp. Quick release won't go, rebound to Langdon. Jositis battling with Smotis down there. The official wagging his finger, basically saying, hey, guys, be careful. Torres traveled.
One of the few turnovers we've seen from CSKA tonight.
Only 5 in the first half for CSKA. Eric Sharp running the point, gives to Jerriton. Jerriton on top, 3 men around him. Sharp's open in the corner. Can't hit the 3. Torres the rebound.
Good look that time by Sharp. Unable to knock it down.
And with a big lead, CSKA content to walk it up and set up.
I don't think CSKA's gonna slow it down, but they're gonna make sure that they get a good high percentage shot. They've got their lead, running it a certain way. That was a difficult shot there, falling away. Not the kind of shot that CSKA would like to see.
Kyle Burstein gives it on top for Vucic. Jositis has had the hot hand for Maccabi. He won't go this time. He had 16 first half points. The only thing going.
And Maccabi continues to have some trouble shooting the basketball here early on in the going in the third quarter.
Smotis, good position down low, working on Vucic. And Vucic commits the foul. Had some help from Sharp, but the foul will go on Vucic.
Smotis getting the ball, going in, turning. It draws the foul. But really, Maccabi has got to give some defensive help right away and force him to kick the ball out and then rotate the defense. They cannot allow Smotis to just back down. He's too strong. He's going to get a good high percentage shot or be able to draw the foul, which he did here.
Smotis has one more free throw coming. Big man right around 70% on the season from the line, just a shade under. Second year with CSKA, 14th as a pro, played 12 seasons in Italy for the native Slovenian. And having a fine game. 12 first quarter points, and didn't score in the second quarter, but didn't need to, because that's where Trajan Langdon came on and had 13 in that quarter alone. Total team effort. A great drive and dish from Sharp, finding Jositis.
And really one of the nice offensive sets that we've seen by Maccabi tonight. Sharp going in the lane, drawing the defense, and Jositis moving well without the basketball. Jositis is having an outstanding ball game tonight.
Hesitation move. Holden goes to the hole and gets it down over Vucic.
Holden using his quickness and speed against the bigger man Vucic, and puts the ball up with the left hand off the glass.
We saw the lonely man from Maccabi with his gold scarf among this sea of red from CSKA Moscow. On top, that's a big one. They need something from somebody. Vucic gives him a 3.
Yeah, Vucic, of course, has got to get more offensive minded. He can step outside and hit the 3. One of the top players in all of Euro basketball.
J.R. Holden working on Burstein, trying to go by him. Right back out for Torres. Misses on the 3. Smotis gets the offensive rebound and then fires it at the feet of Goran Jerriton. Jerriton was the one trying to box him out face first.
Yeah, Jerriton was really overmatched in his size, only at 6'4", against the Smotis, the bigger man, at 6'9". Not much of a chance there, but he has to foul him. Otherwise, Smotis is going to get a good high percentage shot there on a close-in basket.
Now, Smotis having a discussion with the official. What Smotis did that the replays didn't show is he, once the foul was called, as he backed away, he just kind of fired the ball down at the feet of Jerriton. Certainly flirting with a technical, but just a warning, I guess, here. Anderson, size advantage on Jositis. Trying to take him down low. Help came, so fire it out. Smotis missed on the 3. Jositis continues to be everywhere for Maccabi.
Yeah, good inside that outlook that time by CSKA. But Maccabi, you're right. Jositis is just doing everything he can here to try to turn the tide.
Jarrettson missing on the three. Anderson the rebound.
A little bit too much one-on-one. Not a good high percentage by Maccabi. They've got to get good looks every time down to try to make up for this 23-point deficit that they now face.
Well, they try to force it inside for Anderson. There's nowhere for that one to go. Maccabi coming away with the ball. CSKA's back, no numbers, so Maccabi will set up. Nearly stolen away by J.R. Holden. Right him in the ice cream cones courtside. And Holden, who had 4 first-half steals, a big part of that CSKA defense.
Yes, he really has. He's the leader of that CSKA defense. We here see the play, the preceding play there, the saving of the ball. Then Holden coming back. Great hands, great deflection, great anticipation. Of course, Holden went to Bucknell in the United States, went to college there, but is a Russian national by decree of President Putin. So he makes Moscow his home now.
You're good enough hoop player, you can get President Putin to decree.
Well, he was the Russian Player of the Year in 2003. Has had a lot of success here playing in Russia.
Will Bynum with the basketball. Andrew with the Lakers, of course, a little younger and a little bigger than Will Bynum, more than a little. Still a 21-point game for CSKA. Papaloukas gives it out. Now Smotis on top. Papaloukas being guarded by a big man. Vucic wants to set him up. Takes him into the lane. Goes to the left hand. Wouldn't go. That's
a big mismatch. And Papaloukas really trying to put on a clinic. Missed the shot, but really took on Vucic. Vucic is he's not going to be able to guard Papaloukas. Papaloukas got too much versatility and quickness.
Papaloukas stole the pass. Vucic likes to make that behind-the-back delivery there to a cutter. And, I'm thinking Papaloukas has seen that before.
Yeah, he probably has. Vucic, of course, is a great passer. Averages 4 assists a game. Leads Maccabi in that category as well as just about every other category that where statistics is kept. But Papaloukas, he's a clever, savvy player. And here, West wide open here.
Just a beautiful look at it. He is not a great three-point shooter by percentages, but you give him that kind of look.
Well, we see here on the defensive end, but really wide open. There's no one more than 15 feet of him. He's going to be able to knock that one down.
Another Maccabi turnover.
Here, Bynum trying to do a little bit too much. Force the action. CSKA in complete control of this ball game.
And have been from the outset. They scored the first hoop. Maccabi tied it. Then it was a 12-0 CSKA run that only really got worse as they continue to put it out of reach. Hit 32 at one point in the second quarter. Bynum inside out. This is Burstein. A good look for the three. And he cuts the deficit to 21, but only a minute and a half to play in the third quarter.
We're going to Maccabi's got to do more of that. Bynum driving and kicking, and of course then Vucic trying to get him started down low.
Great position for Smotis down low. Burstein just wrapped him up.
Yeah, Smotis comes from the weak side, flashes into the lane, gets the position. I mean, how can you guard somebody when you allow the guy to get the ball at his size right underneath the basket? There's nothing you can do but foul. Really a defensive lapse that time by Bernstein.
Bernstein with 3 personal fouls.
Of course, Bernstein is really overmatched in there by from a size differential with Smotis, and of course
Vandenspiegel comes back into the game, replacing Smotis for the moment. Anderson from 17 drills the face-up jumper.
He can hit that ball, that shot. I mean, he's a great face-up shooter, catch and shoot. Shoots 48% for 3, so he certainly can make that 17-footer that he just hit.
8 points off the bench for CSKA today. Sharp the pull-up, gets the roll. Final 40 seconds of the third quarter. CSKA looking to add to the 21-point lead. They go up high to Vanden Spiegel, who's fouled.
Foul was on Green. Again, CSKA is just doing everything right. A nice pass coming from the weak side.
It just keeps getting better for CSKA.
Papaloukas once again, nice look inside, real quick pass. Papaloukas finding the open spot, the good look by Anderson. Great teamwork, great unselfish play. Papaloukas, 14 points.
Can't make it 15, but he does have 7 assists on the ball game as well. Classic performance from Papaloukas.
You get the feeling that Papaloukas in big ball games really can step up, much like Jason Kidd does for the New Jersey Nets. Not a great outside shooter, but when it counts, he can knock it down. And of course, he is the engineer of this offense, as we can see. Doesn't start the game, but comes in and is really a major impact.
Final seconds of the third. Bursting the rebound. Firing from three-quarter court, and that'll do it for the third quarter. Game 3 of this EuroLeague quarterfinal matchup. Winner goes to the Final Four. A low-scoring third quarter, but CSKA preserving their lead, looking to close it out in the fourth. This is EuroLeague basketball on ESPN. Quarterfinal matchup. CSKA hosting Maccabi in the decisive Game 3. Winner of this one moving on to the Final Four in Athens. And it has been all CSKA. Mark Brown along with Hall of Famer Gail Goodrich. Glad you could be with us. Oh, what a great block by Vanden Spiegel, denying Bynum.
And once again, we see the great defense, the team defense by CSKA. Bynum makes a nice move into the lane, but Vanden Spiegel coming from the weak side, very alertly goes up and denies the basket.
His second block of the game.
CSKA coming out here with a good team defense. Not going to let up here in this fourth quarter. Very important to keep the pressure on.
Bynum gave it out to Geratin. Drives and leaves for Green. Took the contact and lays it in. Chance for a three-point play for Yaniv Green.
Good ball movement down to the weak side, and then the penetration to the lane. The nice dish. And Green with the finish. The crowd here in Moscow really getting into this game, and why shouldn't they? They see their home team with a decisive margin here, on their way to a victory, and of course then on to Athens. Maccabi, of course, has been very, very difficult to beat at home. In fact, they have not lost a game this year on their home court.
It looks like that will continue to be the case through today, save for some incredible, miraculous turnaround. Torres misses the three, foul in the rebounding action. Savrasenko was crashing the boards. It's a foul on Maccabi.
Papaloukas once again with a good skip pass to the weak side, the wide open shot, and at the same time
there the cutter off the inbounds, and Savrasenko fouled again, this time in the act.
Yeah, nice cut there off the inbound. Really Maccabi going to that zone, and it is not very good zone, to be honest with you, allowing the cutter to come right into the lane under the basket, receive a pass. Nothing to do but foul at that point. But CSKA, when they do miss, they are pounding the boards and getting good offensive position, so they get second shots. They're just doing everything right today, Mark.
The Brain Trust enjoying it, and why not? Hired Ettore Messina prior to last year. All he does is go and win them a championship. Yeah, they brought some players in as well. They've kept that core group together for another run at it this year, and right now it's all going according to schedule. Geratin hits a three, and it's inside a 20-point game for the first time in quite some time.
Lucas running the point.
Kicks it out for Torres. Fires and hits in rhythm.
What a combination. Lucas to Torres. Assist number 8 for Lucas.
Bynum off the mark at the other end. Lucas just doing just about everything right today. Hasn't turned the ball over once. He's got 14 points. And as Gail mentioned, the 8 assists. He's hit all but one of his shots.
Look at the ball movement to the weak side by CSKA. Has everything going for him. And Anderson with the turnaround jumper.
Anderson gets to double digits, becomes the 5th CSKA player to doubles already.
Anderson, a real tough matchup at 7 feet, down low, with the ability to go outside and hit the 3. Just a real solid player. Gives CSKA good offensive production coming off the bench.
David Anderson, a member of the Australian national team. One of 3 legitimate 7-footers that CSKA plays regularly. Nice hesitation for Bynum. Reverses it past Safrasenko. Tough shot for Will Bynum.
Yeah, pretty shot that time, and drive by Bynum. Trying to keep Maccabi somewhat in this ball game, but they've got a tough task.
David Anderson stepping it out again. It's a 3 this time. He can hit that. He's now hit 18 threes on the season.
Well, you know, they did make it very difficult for Maccabi. Maccabi throwing the ball away here. Costly turnover.
Anderson, in fact, has hit 18 of his 36 three-point attempts on the season. That's 50% for the 7-footer. Lead at 24. Lucas, 10 on the shot clock. Great ball movement. Always the extra pass for CSKA. This time another open look, and Anderson hits again.
Boy, what great teamwork, great passing, unselfish play by CSKA. And of course, Anderson's got the hot hand right now, and they're getting him the ball. Why not? That's what you do. Get the ball to the guy with the hot hand.
He now joins Trajan Langdon with 15 points for game high for CSKA. Sharon Chassan gets the layup at the other end.
Chassan, who did not play in game 2, is getting an opportunity here, trying to find an answer for the CSKA's hot shooting.
Holden can hit from 3, and a foul inside. It'll go against Maccabi again. They're not protecting their defensive backboards. Well, a festive atmosphere in Moscow, and why not? This has been more acclamation than a victory. They have just sailed through this particular game. And a winner-take-all to go to the Final Four matchup. Really only one team came ready to play, and boy, were they ready.
Boy, they really did come ready to play. They're making their open shots. They're grabbing rebounds. They're controlling the ball, controlling the game. Everything you want to do, CSKA is doing tonight.
Yaniv Green misses from on top. Got the long rebound. Another chance for Maccabi. Sharp in the lane, creates some space, misses, tries again, and puts it in.
Give Sharp credit, stays with it. Maccabi doing a lot of one-on-one.
Halfway through the 4th quarter. Schmodis inside and hammered.
What a great play that time. Schmodis sets the pick. His teammate comes off the pick. He steps inside. Often the screener gets the one who's going to be open, and the great delivery to Schmodis underneath.
Schmodis misses the free throw. First miss from the line today.
Not a great free throw shooter at 69%, but he makes them when it counts.
1 of 2 on that trip. The banners have been flying today. Oh yes, Final Four in Athens, and yes, CSKA, it sure looks like he'll be going.
It sure does. They've had an outstanding ball game. Looking to go for their 5th straight Final Four appearance. Of course, they won it all last year. And if they play like they're playing tonight, they're going to give the other 3 teams all they want.
And that victory last year in the finals for CSKA.
But look at the hustle there by number 4. Theodoros Papaloukas having an outstanding game here tonight.
Doing a little bit of everything. In fact, a lot of everything. That victory last year in the finals for CSKA was their first Euroleague or equivalent title in 25 years. The CSKA team had some great ones back in the late 60s and early 70s. 71 was their last equivalent title, and boy, that ended a long drought, and they did it in style. There's no reason to think they can't do it again, but the competition fierce. The 2 teams that are already in there, Panathinaikos and Tau, are certainly formidable.
Yeah, they really are, Mark, and this is going to be an outstanding Final Four. It's shaping up that way. The CSKA, of course, brings a lot of confidence and a lot of focus. If they do that, what they've done today with that focus and intensity, they're going to be mighty tough in this Final Four.
There is one other quarterfinal game 3 to be played, that taking place later on today, an all-Spanish quarterfinal. Werder Barcelona taking on Unicaja, another winner-take-all game 3. And Smotis
got him a little bit with the body, as you can see here. Not a lot. There's a little bump with the body. The block, though, is a good block. A little bit down below. Smotis doesn't like the call, but he's had an outstanding game. And with the big lead, is not too worried about it.
Now, CSKA came out very strong, obviously ready to play. And Smotis was a big part of setting that tone in the first quarter. He had 12, and really his team just rolled from there. Bynum gets his 6th point, but not a big impact game for him. Under 4 minutes to play. The CSKA lead remains at 18. And they've taken almost 3 times as many free throws as have Maccabi. More quick ball movement for CSKA. Step back jumper for Langdon. Sharp the rebound. Sharp says, you're not going to guard me, I'll take it. But no make this time.
And nobody on the offensive boards for Maccabi. It's all CSKA. They get the run out. They don't finish on the break.
Chasson taking it at the basket and draws the foul on David Anderson.
Nice play by Chasson. Going to the basket. Good drive. The lean in. Drawing the foul.
David Anderson saying, hey, I was given ground. Well, good job by Chasson to suck up that space and put the pressure on Anderson for the contact. 4th foul on David Anderson.
But what a factor Anderson has been tonight. Coming off the bench.
Making 7 of 8 shots, including a 3. 15 points for him. Couple of assists, couple of rebounds.
Real solid performance.
One of 5 CSKA players in double digits. Great balanced attack. Torres 13, 14 for Papaloukas, 15 each for Langdon, Anderson, and Smotis.
Looking inside, good position.
6 on the shot clock. Langdon gets to the basket.
What a clinic there on one-on-one play by Langdon. The crossover again, and just too much quickness for Green to guard him.
Nice move in the lane. Oh, Will Bynum loses Holden, who comes up a little gimpy. 16. is the deficit now with 2:15 to play. It's as close as Maccabi's been since really the first quarter. Step back jumper for Holden. Guess he's feeling okay.
He is now. He, of course, was a big factor in game one with 12 points, and he's just been outstanding on defense.
Alexei Savrasenko with some defense, waiting it out for the block very nicely on Green.
Boy, good block, all ball.
Remains Maccabi ball. Tough jumper won't go for Sharp. Rebound, Anderson is third. Quickly hitting ahead for Langdon. Doesn't like the numbers, backs it out.
Smart move.
See if Papaloukas can come up with his 10th assists. Probably won't give him one for that after the dribble. We'll see.
I like that as an assist. I don't know if they give him one, but it was he who created the play. The cross-court pass, the skip pass to Langdon. The defense runs at him. The head fake, and then the setup for the three.
Still no registering of assists just yet on the stat monitor, but we will keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Vandenspiegel picks up the foul.
Green going to his left. Nice move into the lane, draws a foul. But it's all CSKA, and it's time for celebration in Moscow. A very, very impressive performance by Langdon and the entire CSKA team. Arturo Messina has got to be happy with this performance, and, you know, give him a lot of credit. He got this team ready to play.
Well, Gail, I think you may have gotten your wish. Our statistical monitor shows 10 assists now for Papaloukas. A double-double, 14 points, 10 assists in the ball game.
He has really had a tremendous impact, as he has all season. But certainly tonight, he's just played outstanding. And again, just helping his teammates, setting everybody up, as well as scoring.
.42 Bynum inside out. Eusitis. Rebound, Vandenspiegel. And a chance for Arturo Messina to pull out some of his guys who played well. David Anderson, big game, being pulled out. Crowd showing their appreciation. Papaloukas coming out as well. Pankratshov getting his only action of the game. He's in now.
In Moscow, they really love this team. This team has had a great deal of success, and they should. They're showing a great deal of support. Very appreciative of the performance that CSKA has given them tonight. There we see this part of the celebration that's beginning.
David Vanterpool unable to play as of yet. Still don't know whether a couple weeks more will allow that back to be in shape for the Final Four, but Messina giving him a hug, letting him know he's a big part of it.
Well, he is a big part of it. He has had a great season. Unfortunately, of course, he got hurt. Hasn't been able to play for a while now. But if he comes back, to put him in the mix here, they're going to be very tough down in Athens at the Final Four. I mean, look at the help defensively. 3 guys converging on the dribbler. This is a team that trusts one another. They play together. Just an outstanding ball game.
Last gasp here. And it won't go. So CSKA Moscow has booked their trip to Athens. They're going back to the Final Four. 5 straight years the defending champs will be in the mix in Athens. Time for celebration in Moscow. CSKA with a very impressive 92-71 victory, a game that they led by 30 on a number of occasions. We'll be back with more from Moscow in a moment. Yes, it is a final. CSKA Moscow with a definitive victory, 92-71 over Maccabi Elite. And we'll show you how it happened. It happened right off the opening tip, pretty much. We'll go back to the first quarter when J.R. Holden would find Matash Shmotis. Shmotis coming off a game where he scored 0 field goals, if you can believe it, in the Game 2 loss. Well, that was not the case in Game 3 here. He got involved early with the threes. He got involved early down low. Had 12 first quarter points, then took a little break. Theo Papaloukas coming in later in the first quarter, and he got things going. A 19-point lead after that three. They had a 19-point lead at the end of the quarter. In the second quarter, Papaloukas would go to be a playmaker, finding men like Trajan Langdon, scoreless in the first half, 13, or the first quarter. He had 13 in the second quarter, and then worked so well. Let's do it again on the other side. Papaloukas to Trajan Langdon for another three. The lead had ballooned once again. David Anderson came in off the bench, 6 first half points, goes to the lefty hook there. A 29-point halftime lead. Again, we go to the third quarter, and J.R. Holden would break it down.
Yeah, he really did. He breaks down the defense here, takes it right to the hoop on Vucek.
Now, Nikola Vucek was a very quiet first half, hits a 3 here, but still down 23 is Maccabi. Papaloukas would have 10 assists in this game.
Yeah, he was just outstanding. Here he is finding Anderson for the nice little jumper to finish the play.
Now on to the fourth quarter, still with a 20-point or so lead. Papaloukas setting up David Anderson. Anderson said, hey, my jumper's going, let's take it out to 3. And why not?
Yeah, Papaloukas, great decision making. Hits the man with the hot hand. It was Langdon early and Anderson late.
Anderson that time working off the dribble, pulling up for the jumper. And Papaloukas had 8 assists at this point. This was number 9 on the jumper for Holden, and then he'd set up Trajan Langdon again, who led all scorers with 20 points.
Yeah, again, the skip pass, he really needs to get credit. The defense runs at Langdon. Langdon makes the fake and drills the 3.
5 CSKA players in double digits, and tremendous numbers, 21 of 29 from 2-point range. They are actually even shot better than 50% from 3-point range as well.
Yeah, they really did, and it was all CSKA, Mark, like you said, right from the beginning. And the shooting was just outstanding, and too much for Maccabi tonight.
Siemens Jasaitis, the only Maccabi player in double digits. He had 18 on a very good shooting night for him. Not so for the rest of his teammates. Well, we know about 3/4 of the Final Four. We've known about Panathinaikos and Tal Ceramica from last week. They will battle it out in one semifinal on May 4th. And then CSKA Moscow will be in the other one. They await the winner of Unicaja versus Winterthur Barcelona. That game scheduled for later on today. And you can see it here on ESPN. Check the time in your area of the world on Friday. Unicaja taking on Winterthur Barcelona. An all-Spanish derby there for that final spot in the 2007 Final Four. Well, Maccabi Elite couldn't do nearly enough today as CSKA jumped them in Moscow today in the definitive Game 3 of the quarterfinals. 92-71 is the final for Gail Goodrich and our entire crew. I'm Mark Brown. So long for now. This is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. CSKA Moscow defeats Maccabi and will go to the Final Four.
Euroleague basketball devotion.